I never thought I'd burn my own life to the ground just to watch someone else's empire crumble. But that's exactly what I did on that rain-slicked night in the New Mexico Badlands, torching the only bridge I had left to the woman I once called sister. It started with a single lie she whispered in my ear during our freshman year at Stanford. A lie that chained me to her shadows for 15 years, making me the fall guy for her greed while she climbed the ladder of Washington power plays. And when the mediator stepped in front of those elders, blocking their sacred offering of flowers like he was swatting away a fly, I knew the moment had come. My evidence wasn't just paper, it was the noose I'd woven from her own words, ready to hang us both in the court of public fury. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. But mine simmered for so damn long it turned into a 5-alarm blaze that scorched everything in its path. My name's Delilah Crow, and back in 2010, I was 21, wide-eyed, and stupid enough to think loyalty was a two-way street. Stanford's campus was my oyster, full scholarship, poli-sci major, dreams of fighting for the little guy in some ACLU wet dream. That's where I met her, Elena Vasquez, the golden girl with a razor smile and a Rolodex of connections that stretched from Silicon Valley boardrooms to the backrooms of Santa Fe galleries. She was Chicana firebrand on the outside, all posters for immigrant rights and land back rallies, but underneath, a serpent coiled in the desert sun, waiting to strike. We bonded over late-night burritos in the quad, swapping stories about growing up brown in a white man's America. Me. From the dusty trailer parks of Albuquerque. Dad, a Navajo mechanic who fixed trucks for oil barons. Mom gone too early to cancer that the res clinic couldn't catch. Elena, daughter of a big-shot developer in Tucson. Daddy's money paving her way, but her mouth screaming revolution. We're gonna change the world. Del, she'd say, clinking her Tecate against mine. You and me, against the machine. I believed her. Hell, I loved her like the sister I never had. When she pitched the idea of our joint thesis on indigenous land rights, focusing on the forgotten petroglyph sites in the Chaco Canyon area, I jumped in headfirst. It was perfect, academic cred. Activist cred. And a shot at real impact. But Elena had plans I didn't see coming. Turns out, her family's empire wasn't just building strip malls. They were eyeing federal lands for luxury eco-resorts. The kind that honor native heritage with overpriced sweat lodges and faux adobe spas. Chaco was ground zero, a UNESCO site, sacred to the Pueblo peoples, but ripe for sustainable development if you grease the right palms. Elena's dad, Ramon Vasquez, had lobbyists in D.C., whispering about tax breaks and eminent domain loopholes. She confided in me one night, half drunk on mezcal, that she was feeding him intel from our research, maps, tribal claims, weak spots in the legal protections. It's not betrayal, Del, she slurred, eyes gleaming. It's evolution. We help them modernize. They get jobs. Win-win. I laughed it off as pillow talk gone wrong. But then came the betrayal that gutted me like a fresh kill. Our thesis deadline loomed, and Elena handed me a stack of revisions, fabricated emails, doctored surveys claiming tribal elders supported the development. Just sign off as co-author, she urged. It's harmless. Harmless? It was perjury wrapped in footnotes. I refused, called her out in the library stacks, voices echoing off the oak shelves. She flipped like a switch, face twisting from ally to adversary. You think you're better than me? Trailer trash? Without my name on your apps. You're nothing. By morning, the dean had my number, plagiarism charges, sourced from anonymous tips. My scholarship? Yanked. My future? In flames. But that wasn't the knife twist. Elena didn't stop at academic sabotage. She pinned a bigger sin on me, the kind that follows you like a federal warrant. During a spring break road trip to Chaco, we'd snuck onto restricted land for field research.
Elena.
Ever the thrill-seeker. Spray-painted, Vasquez Properties respects all, on a Kiva wall, a mocking tag her dad had planted to test security. Caught on a ranger's dashcam. But she swore it was me in the grainy footage. My build matching the hoodie. I took the hit. Misdemeanor vandalism. Community service on the res. A record that killed my law school dreams. She visited me in lockup. All crocodile tears. I'm so sorry.
Del.
I panicked. But think of the story it'll make. Your redemption arc.
Redemption? It was her alibi.
Her clean slate while I scrubbed petroglyphs under the watchful eyes of elders who spat at my feet. 15 years later, that record was still my ball and chain. I clawed my way into a nothing job as a paralegal for a Santa Fe nonprofit, the Southwest Indigenous Justice League, SIJL for short. We fought evictions, water rights grabs, the endless grind of colonial hangover. I was good at it, too, digging through dusty archives, spotting the fine print in treaties older than the Constitution. But Elena? She soared. Vassar dropout turned power broker. She married a senator's son, birthed a think tank on equitable development, and now, at 36, she was the darling mediator for federal land disputes. Her latest gig, arbitrating the Chaco Protection Act, a bill to expand the national monument against Vasquez Enterprises' resort push. Irony? It was my old thesis, dusted off and politicized. I watched from the sidelines, nursing my grudge like cheap whiskey. Until the flowers. It was a small ceremony, Pueblo elders from Acoma and Laguna, laying wildflower bundles at the monument's edge as a prayer for the land. Symbolic.
Non-violent.
The kind of quiet protest that usually flew under radar. But Elena's team, lobbyists in pressed khakis, had tipped off the feds. Barricades went up, and there she was on the evening news, clipboard in hand, mediating with that patented smile. We respect cultural practices, but safety first. No unauthorized access. The elders stood frozen, bouquets wilting in the heat, cameras rolling. My blood boiled. That was my line in the sand. The one where I stopped being the victim and started being the storm. I started small, anonymous tips to res journalists, leaks about Vasquez kickbacks. But Elena was slippery. Every trail led to dead ends, her denials polished as marble. I needed the kill shot. Something irrefutable. That's when I found it, buried in a forgotten server from our Stanford days. A shared Google Drive. Password Sisterhood Forever. Untouched since graduation. Inside, voice memos. Her laughing about the graffiti frame job, emails to her dad plotting the thesis sabotage, even a draft confession she'd written post-arrest. Then deleted, except not fully. Delilah took the fall so I could shine, it read. Guilt's a bitch, but ambition's better. My hands shook as I downloaded it all, backed it up on encrypted drives, printed hard copies on archival paper. Evidence. My Excalibur. The climax brewed at the Albuquerque Convention Center, a sterile hall packed for the Chaco Act public hearing. Suits from D.C. Elders in turquoise and silver. Activists with signs reading, land back or bust. Elena presided from the dais. All poise and pantsuits. Her husband the senator beaming from the front row. I slipped in late. Folder under my arm. heart hammering like a war drum. The agenda dragged, testimonies on economic impacts, environmental reports. Then the elders rose. One by one, gray-haired matriarchs with voices like canyon wind, pleading for the flowers-blocked prayer, for the monument soul. Elena leaned into the mic, smooth as silk. We hear you.
Truly.
But mediation requires balance. Vasquez Enterprises offers community centers, scholarships, progress that honors the past. Murmurs rippled. A young activist shouted, Progress? You mean erasure? Security tensed. That's when she did it, called for a recess. But not before nodding to her aide, who wheeled in a cart of potted plants, fake succulents in gold pots. Gifts from the developers. A gesture of goodwill, she announced. The room split, some clapped. Seeing compromise, others jeered, smelling co-optation. It was her masterstroke, turning sacred symbolism into corporate schlock, flipping the narrative from desecration to donation. I couldn't breathe. This was at the deep cut. Her moxie on full display. Betrayal layered on betrayal. Her scheming heart bare. As the aide positioned the pots at the elder's feet, blocking the space where real flowers should have been, I stood. MS. Vasquez, I called, voice cutting through the din like a blade. Heads turned. She froze, eyes locking on mine across the sea of faces. Recognition dawned, slow and sour. Delilah Crow, she said, forcing a smile. An old acquaintance. Do you have testimony? Not testimony, I replied, climbing the steps to the podium. Folder heavy as lead. Justice. The room hushed as I laid it out. The memos. The emails. The confession draft projected on the screen behind her, hacked into the AV system by a res tech kid I'd bought coffee for. Her face drained of color. That razor smile cracking. Gasps echoed. The senator's jaw dropped. This woman, I said, pointing, built her career on my ruins. She framed me for vandalism to cover her family's crimes, sabotaged my future to steal my work. And now, she's mediating the very land she wants to sell off, blocking prayers while peddling plastic peace. Chaos erupted. Elders wept silent tears, activists chanted truth now, lobbyists scrambled for phones. Elena lunged for the mic.
Lies.
Forged documents, slander. But the evidence spoke louder. Timestamps irrefutable. Her voice on audio memos tinny but damning. Delilah's the patsy. Keeps my hands clean. Her husband stood, face thunderous. But the crowd turned feral, pushing toward the stage, demanding answers. Security swarmed, but not before an elder pressed a real wildflower into my hand, whispering, You've honored us,
Daughter.
As they dragged her away for clarification, our eyes met one last time.
No sisterhood.
Just the raw edge of what we'd become. Me. The avenger with ink-stained hands. Her. The fallen queen. Scrambling for the next flip.
But the twist?
In that folder, buried deepest, was my own secret. I'd embellished one memo. Just a touch. To seal the deal. Was it justice or just another betrayal? The room didn't care then. It was silent, utterly, as the evidence hung in the air like smoke. The fallout hit like a monsoon swift, muddy, and impossible to outrun. By dawn, my face was plastered across CNN. Unknown heroine exposes mediator in land grab scandal. Unknown? Try ghost of scandals past. My phone blew up, reporters from the Res paper to the New York Times. Old Stanford profs apologizing via LinkedIn. Sales director pulled me into a huddle. Eyes wide. Del. This is huge. But dangerous. Vasquez, money runs deep. Dangerous? I'd been dancing on dynamite since the graffiti can hit the Kiva wall. Elena didn't go quietly. Her first move was denial. A presser from her Tucson mansion. Deepfakes. A disgruntled ex-colleague with an axe to grind. Axe? Try guillotine. But the memos weren't fake. Verified by a forensic tech from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Pro bono because fuck corporate land thieves. Public opinion split like a fault line. Justice for Chaco trended with my name. Elders calling me the flower warrior in viral TikToks. But the other side? Vasquez victim. Painting me as a jealous stalker. A radical with a vendetta. Her husband's Senate office leaked my juvie record, shoplifting candy at 14. Nothing but a desperate kid slip, and twisted it into a pattern of deceit. I holed up in my one-bed apartment off Central Avenue. Albuquerque's artery of Ticarius and tattoo shops. The place smelled of green chili and regret. Walls papered with faded posters of AIM protests. My cat, Geronimo, eyed me like I was the intruder.
Sleep?
A joke. Nightmares replayed the hearing. Elena's face crumpling. The senator's glare promising payback. But under the fear buzzed something feral, elation. For the first time in years, I wasn't the fall girl. I was the reckoning. The calls kept coming. First was Tommy Begay, a Laguna Pueblo councilman I'd met during service. Delilah, you gave us a voice. Come to the Mesa, talk strategy. I drove out that afternoon. Windows down. Wind whipping my hair like a war banner. The Mesa rose stark against the sky. Red rock layered like ancient cake. Dotted with adobe homes and solar panels, a blend of old world and new. Tommy met me at the community center, a low-slung building with murals of corn maidens and coyotes. Over fry bread and stew. He laid it out, the Chaco act was teetering. Vasquez pulling strings to water it down. Your evidence flipped the script, he said, but Elena's still got allies in D.C. We need more witnesses. The works. Witnesses. That's when the buried secret clawed its way up. Not just Elena's frame job, but the deeper rot, the crime I'd shouldered without knowing. Back in college, after the vandalism bust, the ranger who'd collared me wasn't some random badge. He was on Vasquez's payroll, planted to patrol that night. Elena confessed it in a memo I'd overlooked. Dad paid the ranger $5,000 to pin it on Dell. Clean getaway. But the real kicker? The vandalism wasn't just paint. It masked a survey spike driven into sacred ground, marking the resort footprint. I'd scrubbed that spike away myself during service, thinking it debris, while elders mourned a desecrated prayer site. I'd borne their grief, their curses, for her family's profit. The weight hit like a sandstorm. I wasn't just betrayed. I'd been the unwitting accomplice in cultural erasure. Tommy's eyes hardened when I told him. That's blood debt.
Sister.
We go public, rally the tribes. A plan formed over coffee black as bitumen, a coalition hearing on the res, inviting media, subpoenaing records. I'd be the star witness. Folder in tow. But doubt gnawed. Elena flipped sides like a weather vane. Activist to arbiter. Sister to snake. What if she countered with her own dirt? I knew she had it. That one embellishment in the memo, where I'd added permanently to her ruin her scholarship line. Forgery? Close enough to discredit me. Controversial decisions? Mine now.
2.
Driving back. Radio crackling with talk of the scandal. I pulled over at a roadside diner, neon, open 24/7, flickering like a bad omen. Inside. Truckers hunched over plates of huevos rancheros. A jukebox crooning Johnny Cash's Hurt. I ordered coffee. Black. And scrolled X, formerly Twitter. Because who has time for rebrands? Threads dissected me. Delilah's a hero. Exposing elite grift versus she's unhinged doctoring evidence? Lock her up. Polarizing. Just like the hearing. No one's hands clean in this dirt. Then. A DM from an unknown handle at Shadow Vasquez. We need to talk. Coffee tomorrow. Neutral ground. My gut twisted.
Elena? No.
The profile pic was a blurred canyon shot. I replied. Who? The response. Someone who knows what really happened that night in Chaco. Bring the folder. Trap or truth? I showed Tommy via text. He warned. Don't go alone. But solitude's my vice. I'd built walls too high for backup. Next morning, I'm at the Shadow at a strip mall Starbucks off I-40. The kind with drive-through and overpriced lattes. He was mid-40s. Salt and pepper beard. Flannel shirt smelling of sage and engine grease. Name's Javier, he said, sliding into the booth. Used to run security for Ramon Vasquez. That ranger?
Me.
My coffee turned to ash in my mouth. He leaned in, voice low. Elena didn't lie about the payoff, but she omitted the rest. The spike? It wasn't just a marker. It hit a burial urn, ancestral remains. Pulverized. Feds covered it up for the oil leases nearby. Ramon paid everyone off, including me, to frame you clean. Burial urn. The word echoed. A ghost rattle.
Idea sagrada.
Unwittingly. Why tell me now? I whispered. Javier's eyes flicked to the door.
Guilt.
And Elena's unraveling, threatening to burn it all if she goes down.
But you're the key.
There's video from my dashcam. Unedited. Shows her spraying. Me planting the spike. Trade. Your evidence stays quiet on my roll. I give you the tape. Flip. Another schemer. Decisions gray as monsoon clouds. Hand it over. And I shield a grave robber. Withhold. And the full truth buries us all. Controversial? Hell yes. I pocketed the thumb drive he slid across, nodding.
Deal.
But if you run, he smiled. Weary. Won't. This ends with us. Back home. I synced the video, grainy but gold. Elena's laugh as paint hisses. Javier's gloved hand driving the spike. Shattering pottery unseen. Audio caught the crunch. A whisper of bone. My stomach roiled. This wasn't revenge anymore, it was excavation. Unearthing sins we'd all composted. I emailed Tommy. We have the earned proof. But it's bigger, covers a murder of memory. His reply, then we honor it right. Flowers for the loss. The rally coalesced fast, a dawn gathering at Chaco's edge. No barricades this time. Elders led. Drums throbbing like heartbeats. I stood with Javier in the crowd. Anonymous for now. Elena's absence screamed. Hold up. Lawyered to the hilt. Prepping countersuits. But whispers said her marriage cracked. The senator filed for divorce. Citing irreconcilable scandals.
Good.
Let her taste isolation. As the sun crested, an Acoma matriarch took the mic. We come not for war, but remembrance. They laid flowers, not wild, but cultivated from urn-shard soil. Symbolic rebirth. Camera's word. Earn rising trended. My turn came too soon. I'm Delilah Crow, I said, voice steady despite the quake inside. I was the tool, then the witness. This video. Projection flickered. The crime. Unvarnished. Gasps. Then silence. Javier stepped forward, confessing his piece. The crowd didn't lynch, they mourned, folding him into the circle like a wayward son. But as petals drifted on the wind, my phone buzzed, a text from Elena. You in this round,
Sister.
but remember, I know your forgery. One word, and you're the villain. Checkmate? Or just her last flip? The tension coiled tighter. The room, not a room, but the vast canyon, holding its breath for the next act. Power's a funny beast in America. Eats the weak, spits out the ambitious, and leaves the vengeful picking bones. After the rally, I should have felt victorious. But victory tastes like dust when your hands are as dirty as the grave you helped dig. The video dropped like a bomb, leaked to The Guardian first. Then every outlet from Al Jazeera to the local res rag. Headlines screamed, Chaco scandal deepens. Mediator's family desecrated sacred site. Elena's think tank folded overnight. Her DC. Invites revoked.
Ramon Vázquez fa IRS audits.
His resort stalled by tribal injunctions.
Javier?
He turned state's evidence, trading silence on my embellishment for immunity. Coward's bargain.
But smart. Me?
I became a reluctant icon. TEDx offers. Podcasts wanting my journey from framed to freedom. SIJL promoted me to lead counsel. A corner office with a view of the Sandia Mountains. But fame's a double-edged blade, sharper on the flip side. Trolls dox my address. Vasquez-funded PACs ran ads calling me the forgery fraud. Sleep evaded me, replaced by what-ifs. What if I'd let Elena's lie die in Stanford's archives? What if the spike never hit that urn? Guilt gnawed deeper than revenge ever satisfied. The next confrontation brewed in the unlikeliest place, a dive bar off Route 66. Neon last chance saloon buzzing like a migraine. I'd gone for anonymity, jeans, hoodie, nursing a Shiner Bock amid Route 66 relics and grizzled bikers. Elena found me anyway. Slipped onto the stool beside me, looking like hell's own debutante. Hair limp, mascara smudged. That razor smile dulled to a grimace. Buy you a drink.
Del?
For old times. I nearly bolted. But curiosity, or masochism, pinned me. What?
No lawyers? No Javi?
She laughed. Bitter. Signaling the bartender for Patron shots. Divorce papers signed this morning. Turns out, senators don't like grave robbers for in-laws. We clinked glasses. The salt lime burn a ritual from college benders. You got me good, she admitted, eyes scanning the jukebox like it held escape routes. The evidence. Poetic. But you know it's not clean. That permanently in the memo? Sloppy.
Sister.
There it was, the flip. Her probing for weakness. I leaned in, voice low. Sloppy? Like framing your best friend for cultural homicide? Or blocking elders' prayers with plastic pots? Her flinch was satisfaction enough. But Elena never stayed down. It was her superpower. Scheming through the cracks. I did what I had to. Dad's empire was crumbling. Recession hit hard. The thesis? It was our ticket out. You were. Collateral. Collateral. The word hung, justifying a decade of my suffering. We talked then, raw as open wounds. She confessed the flips, activist facade to snag grants, mediator role to sabotage from within. I wanted to help.
Del.
At first. But power. It whispers. Tells you the ends justify. I saw the girl from the quad, buried under the mogul. Pity stirred. Unwanted. And the urn? You knew. She nodded, tears salting her shot. Dad's call. I covered. Thought it'd stay buried. Buried, like the remains. Like our friendship. The bar emptied around us. Cash crooning Ring of Fire. Her hand grazed mine. We could fix this. Joint statement. Shared blame. Your forgery exposed. We both walk with scars. Media loves redemption arcs. The offer dangled. Controversial fork. Team up. Dilute the truth. Maybe salvage careers. Or solo ride. Risk her dropping the bomb on my edit. Turning hero to heel. Decisions like that? They split souls. I pulled back.
No.
Your mess. Your cleanup. She slid off the stool. Defeated but not broken. You'll regret it. I always flip back. She vanished into the neon night, leaving me with the bill and a churning gut. Regret? Already there. Layered thick. Back at the office. Stacks of depositions waited. Vasquez subcontractors testifying to bribes. Feds sweating over cover-ups. Tommy called. Hearing set for next week. Federal court in Santa Fe. You testify first. The room would be packed. Elders. Elena's remnants. Maybe her in the gallery. Plotting. Tension ratcheted. Dark and you am as a thunderhead. Prep was hell, mooting with SIJL lawyers. Reliving the frame job in mock cross-exams. MS. Crow. Isn't it true you altered evidence? They'd probe. Forcing me to justify the permanently as interpretive emphasis. Bullshit. Even to me. But the urn video? Ironclad. It showed not just desecration, but intent. Elena's giggle as the spike drove home. Controversial? Absolutely. Prosecutors could charge conspiracy, but tribes wanted healing circles, not cells. No one fully right. Vasquez greed versus federal complicity. My vengeance versus Elena's survival. The night before court, I drove to Chaco alone. Stars a blanket of indictments overhead. The monument loomed, petroglyphs whispering in the wind. I laid a single wildflower at the kiva base, no spray paint.
No espiques.
For the forgotten, I murmured. A coyote yipped in answer, mocking my solitude. Back home, Geronimo curled against me, purring absolution I couldn't self-grant. Court day dawned crisp. October bite in the air. The Santa Fe courthouse. All adobe arches and justice murals. Buzzed like a hive. I entered in a borrowed blazer. Folder and drive in a leather satchel, my armor. The gallery swelled. Elders in regalia. Activists with notebooks. Javier in witness protection bland.
Elena?
Front row. Suit crisp. Eyes locked on me like a hawk. Her husband absent, but a new ally flanked her, a slick attorney from a DC. Firm. Whispering furiously. Judge Harlan, a grizzled vet with a drawl like molasses, called order. This hearing addresses potential violations under the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, plus related fraud. My testimony opened. The betrayal reel. From Stanford whispers to Chaco crime. Projector hummed. The video played, spike crunching. Elena's laugh echoing off wood-paneled walls. The room inhaled sharp. An elder crossed herself. A reporter typed frenzy. Cross-exam? Elena's lawyer pounced. MS. Crow. Your so-called evidence includes a memo you admit to editing. Isn't this perjury? The question landed like a gut punch. Gallery murmured, split. Some nodding gotcha, others hissing irrelevant. I met his gaze.
Steady.
Emphasis. Not fabrication. The intent was clear. Ruin me to rise. But doubt flickered. Had I crossed into her territory? Scheming for the win? Judge sustained objection to relevance. But damage lingered. Tension coiling like barbed wire. Javier followed, confessing his payoff. The urns shatter. It was bones. Your honor. Ancestors. Tears traced his beard. The room wept with him. Then Elena's turn, the flip I dreaded. She took the stand poised, voice quavering just right. I regret my choices. Youthful mistakes. Family pressure. But Delilah. She knew the risks. We were partners.
Lie.
Slick as oil. Her lawyer introduced my memo side by side, original versus enhanced. Obstruction of justice, he boomed. Chaos, objections flying. Judge banging gavel. Elders stood. Chanting softly, security hovered. Recess called. The room a pressure cooker. In the hall, Tommy gripped my arm. Hold. It's cracking them. But Elena cornered me by the vending machines. Breath hot.
See?
We're the same.
Drop it.
Or I testify to your edit. Full exposure. Her eyes pleaded. Antagonist mask slipping to reveal the scared girl. Controversial decision loomed. Mercy or massacre? I whispered. You made us same. Live with it. Back in session. The judge ruled. Evidence admissible. But no charges on my edit. Insufficient proof of malice. Elena's flip failed. Her testimony crumbled under redirect. Memos proving her orchestration. As a German hit, the room exhaled, silenced not by shock, but solidarity. Elders approached, pressing turquoise into my palm. You've balanced the scale,
Daughter.
but Elena's glare from the defense table promised more flips. The dark tension? It wasn't over. It migrated. Shadow lengthening toward the final twist. America loves a comeback story, but hates the messy epilogue where heroes bleed out slow. Post-hearing, the Chaco Act passed Senate markup. Land protections doubled. Vasquez resorts scrapped for good. Tribes got reparations funds. A cultural center named after the shattered urn. Javier vanished into witness protection. Last I heard running a bait shop in Wisconsin.
Me?
Delilah Crow. ASQ. Now, SIGL fast-tracked my bar exam waiver, citing extraordinary contributions. But success is a spotlight that burns. Shadows hid my embellishment. But Elena's threat echoed like tinnitus. She flipped again.
Public this time.
A Medium post, viral in activist circles. My reckoning. Betrayal on both sides of the land back fight. Tearful confessional, admitting the frame job. The urn. But framing my memo tweak as mutual moral ambiguity. Comments exploded. Feminist solidarity versus cop-out from a colonizer. Polarizing perfection. Her scheming pivot from villain to woke whistleblower. Invites poured in podcasts.
Keynotes.
She even reached out. Coffee? Real talk. No games. I declined. But curiosity festered. The tension peaked at the monument's rededication, a month later. Under harvest moon. Banners fluttered. Chaco reborn.
Crowds swelled. DC.
Dignitaries. Hollywood types slumming for Instagram. Elders leading a blessing circle. I arrived low-key. Slacks and silver concho belt. Geronimo's for still on my sleeve. Tommy greeted with a bear hug. Your family now. We walked the expanded boundaries. Petroglyphs glowing in torchlight. Flowers everywhere, real ones. Baskets overflowing with marigolds and sage. No mediators to block. Elena's presence hit like vertigo. There, in the circle, wearing a mantilla shawl like she'd earned it, microphone in hand. As a mediator, as a friend reborn, she intoned, I honor the ancestors we wronged. Applause rippled, some genuine, others wary. Her eyes found mine across the fire pit, a silent summons. The antagonist's lure, join the redemption, or shatter it. I hung back, nursing a cup of atoll, steam curling like secrets. A young activist, braids and beaded earrings, sidled up. That's her.
Right?
The flipper? You gonna call her out? Her name was Lena, irony's joke, fresh from UM. Fire in her veins. Not tonight, I said. Healing first, but as Elena wove her tale, omitting my edit, amplifying her growth, the you and doubt swelled. Was this her endgame? Co-opt the win. Bury the full truth under feel-good fog? Post-ceremony. The crowd thinned to stragglers around bonfires. Guitars strumming Woody Guthrie covers.
Elena Brocked. Solo.
Hands open.
Del.
No security.
No spins.
Just us. We wandered to the Kiva's edge. Stars indicting overhead. I mend the post, she said. We're not enemies. That memo? I won't touch it.
Consider it.
Grace. Grace? From her? The word soured. Why now? Another flip for the book deal?
She sighed.
Kicking dust. No book. Therapy. Actually. Turns out, ambition's hollow when you're alone. Vulnerability cracked her facade, the schemer stripped to sinew. She confessed deeper. Childhood under Ramon's thumb. Beatings masked as tough love, the activism a rebellion that curdled to compromise. I betrayed you because I betrayed myself first. The urn. I see their faces now. In dreams. Tears tracked. Real ones. Pity surged again. Tangled with rage. Controversial? Offering absolution to the betrayer who stole your bones. We sat then, backs to the stone, sharing silence broken by distant drums. What if we teamed up, she proposed. Real mediation, you and me, for the next fight. Water rights. Maybe. Prove we're better. The offer tempted, alliance over ashes, turning vengeance to velocity. But trust? Shattered like that urn. Maybe, I hedged. If you testify clean, no omissions. Her nod was tentative. A flip deferred. Dawn crept, gilding the canyon. We parted with a hug, awkward, electric. Driving home. Radio blared NPR. Chaco victory sparks national debate on corporate atonement. Listeners called in. Voices clashing. Forgive and move on. Versus justice means jail time. My phone pinged Lena. Saw you with her. Don't let snakes in the garden. The tension? A live wire now. Humming with possibility and peril. Weeks blurred into routine. Depositions wrapping Vasquez probes. Me arguing motions in courtrooms that smelled of old law and older grudges. Elena kept distance, but sent articles, her op-eds on ethical development, CCING me for input. I ignored most, but one caught: a proposal for a joint foundation, funding res scholarships.
Your name on it, she emailed.
Redemption for us both. The dark pull intensified. Whispers of what-ifs. What if forgiveness was the real revenge? Starving her of enmity. The scheme unraveled at a SIJL fundraiser. Black tie in a downtown loft overlooking the Rio Grande. Candlelight danced on Vegas. Champagne flutes clinking to toasts of triumph. I wore a velvet dress. Turquoise choker, feeling almost whole. Elena crashed it. Uninvited. With her new beau, a documentary filmmaker. All dreads and doc cams.
Del.
Partner in crime, she joked. Too loud. Heads turned, Tommy's brow furrowed. Her flip? Public now. Dragging me into her narrative. We stepped onto the balcony. City lights sprawling like veins. What the hell? I hissed. This was private. She grinned. Manic. No more hiding. We're the story. Betrayed sisters. Mending the rift. Oscar bait. The filmmaker hovered. Lens hungry. Betrayal redux. Using our raw hour for content. Scheming my pain into her pivot. Rage ignited. Dark and tensile. Get out, I said. Voice steel. Or I dropped the full tape. Your laugh over the bones. Her face fell. The flip reversing in real time.
Del. Wait.
It's not, but I was done waiting. Inside. I grabbed the mic from the MC. A toast. To truths unburied. The room hushed. We've won, Chaco. But scars linger. Some betray for power. Others forgive for peace.
Me?
I choose neither. I choose the land. Applause thundered. But Elena slipped away. Bow in tow. Her empire of image crumbling anew. That night, alone with wine and wind, the twist brewed. A package arrived anonymous. Postmarked Tucson. Inside, Elena's laptop. Password cracked open. Files galore. Her therapy notes. Detailing abuse. Drafts of a suicide note. Dated pre-hearing. And worst, a video. Her confessing to the filmmaker. Delilah's edit? I planted the seed. Made her think it was mutual dirt. The ultimate flip, framing me again. Even in atonement. She'd recorded our Kiva talk. Edited for her doc. Positioning herself as the evolved one. Me the grudge holder. Tears hot. I burned it all in a backyard fire pit. Laptop sizzling. Secrets to ash. But copies? Uploaded to a dead man's switch. Timed for release if she pushed. Controversial climax. Mercy laced with menace. No clear victor. The room, my mind's courtroom, silenced. Debating the cost of survival. Twists in America aren't tidy, they're tornadoes. Leaving you sifting wreckage for what was worth salvaging. Elena's laptop inferno marked the peak. But peaks precede plummets. Her doc premiered at Sundance, Sisters of the Soil. A brave exploration of land and loyalty. Critics raved. Vasquez bears her soul. While Crow's shadow looms unforgiving. Shadow? Try Survivor. The film glossed my edit as alleged, amplified her tears. Cut my balcony confrontation. Box office buzz. TED follow-up. A Netflix deal. She flipped triumphant. Antagonist reborn as auteur. Public backlash split wider. Cancel Elena surged on res feeds. Boycotts hitting her foundation before launch. But coastal elites lapped it up. Nuanced. Donating fat checks.
Me?
I testified in Ramon's trial. Nailing coffin nails. Conspiracy. Desecration.
Fraud.
He got 5 years. White-collar cage in Club Fed. Satisfaction? Fleeting. Like rain in the desert. The final confrontation loomed unbidden. Her invite to the premiere after-party. Scrawled on embossed cardstock. Come see our story.
End it right.
End. Stories like ours loop eternal. I went anyway. Masochism or closure, dressed in black linen. Turquoise earrings like talismans. Park City glittered. Snow-dusted peaks mocking the heat inside the Yurt-Turn lounge. Celebs mingled with activists. Craft cocktails flowing. Elena held court by the bar. Gown shimmering. Filmmaker arm candy beaming. She spotted me. Sauntered over. Razor smile honed. You came. Knew you would. The air crackled. Tension thick as smoke. Watched it. I nodded. Sipping gin. Artistic license. Her laugh tinkled. Truth's subjective.
Del.
Like your memo. The flip, jab disguised as jest. Party noise faded. It was us again. Canyon echoes. We stepped out to a deck. Utah chill biting. Stars wheeled. Indifferent. Why? I asked.
Raw.
The laptop. The setup, framing me in pixels now. Her facade fractured. Shoulders slumping. Survival. The doc was my out, turned poison to profile.
But you.
You're the ghost I can't shake.
Confessin spilau. Pot laptop.
She'd cracked. Therapy abandoned. Pills tempting. I sent it to free us. Destroy the evidence. Force a clean break. Lie or light. Her eyes. Haunted. Begged belief. Controversial crux. Believe the serpent. Or strike final. The crowd inside cheered a toast. Flashes popped. Lena texted. At the party? Abort. She's live-tweeting your reunion. Public ploy. Her last scheme. Staging forgiveness for clicks. Rage crested. Dark wave. I pull my phone. Triggered the dead man. Files emailed to outlets. Timestamps proving her doc edits. The planted mutual dirt narrative. No more flips, I said. Your truth dies with mine. Her face ashen. She lunged not violence, but desperation.
Del. Please.
We're sisters. Sisters? The word shattered last illusions. Security peeled us apart as alerts buzzed. Bombshell. Vasquez doc faked. Crow strikes back. The party imploded. Guests fleeing.
Reporters swarming.
Elena vanished into the night. A ghost of her own making. Aftermath. Her deals tanked. Foundation dissolved amid lawsuits. She retreated to Tucson. Whispers of rehab or reclusion.
Me?
I resigned from SIJL. Too many spotlights. Not enough shade. Bought a small adobe on the res edge. Planted wildflowers by a personal kiva. Tommy visits. Bringing stew and stories. Lena interns. Fierce heir to the fight. Was it happy? Tragic? Debate fodder. I avenged. But at what cost my mercy? Our shared history? Elders say justice circles back. No ends. Just echoes. As I lay flowers at dawn, wind carrying petals to the ancestors, I feel the silence, not room-bound, but vast as canyons.
No winners.
Just survivors, debating in the dark if the revenge was worth the ruin. Or if, in the end, we were all just dust, flipping in the storm,